Hey everybody, it is time for the Thursday update. Let's drag this camera down a little bit. I am Martinez-Bateman. I am the CEO of New Coyote Consulting, an equity and communications consulting firm here in Portland, Oregon. Every Monday I give you my intentions for the week, and every Thursday I come in and I tell you how I did. This is going to be super fast because I have a 6 p.m. family call to get on, but my intention for the week was to just not fuck with FOMO anymore and not give in to the sort of idea that there was a way that the beginning of this year should have gone, or there's a level that I should be working on. That crap. I feel really good about it. I feel like I navigated that fairly well. I also feel like I was probably not the only person that was like, this is bullshit. Because straight up, I haven't really seen a lot of FOMO on the timeline. I just haven't really seen it. And I think that it's because people like me were like, nah, nobody's going to tell me that I haven't had a stellar year. Like, fuck that. So that makes me feel really good. It feels like people self-corrected. It feels like people maybe realized how tone deaf that kind of shit was, or maybe, I don't know, the internet gods just saw fit to tweak the algorithm and make that shit miss me, which either way, super good. I also realized that I was having some kind of thoughts about just like, there are these two worlds, right? These two worlds that I live in. It's this world that's very couched in capitalism. It comes from my education. It comes from my professional training. And it is a world that served me really well, really well for a really long time. I made money. I made friends. I had great times. There is nothing inherently wrong with, the work that I did in that time. There is something very inherently wrong with the structure that I did that work in, which is that it's a colonizer structure. It's racist, it's white supremacist, it's anti-trans, anti-woman, etc., anti-family. And so, here I'm looking at my new context, and I was talking about this with someone the other day, like, what is my product at this point? What do I do? I've been a mind worker for a long time, using my mind to create something that is of value. That's how I got paid, is mind work, which is just, we really do not treat mind workers well. We have this sort of factory setting for mind work that is stupid in a factory and even stupider when you're trying to get intellectual brilliance out of someone. Because I'm like, what are my primary products? My primary products right now are thoughts and feelings. I make people think thoughts and I make them feel feelings. And then sometimes I consult on the structure of those thoughts and feelings in terms of like strategy work, systems overhaul, etc. That's basically what we do here at New Coyote. We're doing training, coaching, strategy, like implementation, yes, but in general, we're doing thoughts and feelings. Where do my thoughts and feelings come from? Where do I get the best thoughts and feelings? It's definitely not in my office behind my desk, although that's a nice environment to get work done and to jot those down. But in reality, the thoughts and feelings I have that have given me the most benefit, the ones that when I am done with a training, people say, oh my God, I'm so glad that you said this, or you did this, or that this was part of it. That doesn't come from my experience in a box. It doesn't come from my experience in an office. It doesn't come from my experience in an educational place. It doesn't come from my experience in capitalism. It comes from my experience as a natural thing, as a natural part of this world. It comes from my experience of being out in the world in whatever way that means, with friends, with family, digitally here now because of COVID. Like, I have, I'm just thinking of like, I have this 50-foot tall woman spirit part of me that's just, she wants to roam the countryside and gather information and like talk to people and like be a connected brain, explodey brain meme situation. And that's where my best shit comes from. That's where I can trace back the origin of everything that everyone has ever told me, like, holy shit, that was amazing. That's the source of my power. That's the source of my income. That's the source of my success. And here I am really working on growing that and making that a bigger part of my life. And I had this fucked up capitalistic perception that in order to make that happen, what I had to do was sit down at the desk, spend more time in front of the computer, do more things that don't actually serve me in that way. You know, there's a time to sit down in front of the desk and the computer. There's a time to be quiet and studious and learn things in that sort of like very, teacher learner kind of way. But that's not really how I treat my workshop attendees. That's not really how I treat the people I coach. That's not really how I treat other people in the world. So why am I acting like that with myself? It's an old perception of like, you've got to buckle down, nose to the grindstone. See, that kind of stuff, keep your head down, work hard. Those are all, there's this perception that in learning, we must be small and open, waiting for learning to come to us like little baby birds. And it's like, that's not actually how I learn. I don't learn through passive action. I learn through direct action and connection. I learn from people and environments. And if I want to learn more and know more, especially when I'm doing this work that's very heart-centered, that's very values-centered, that's where that learning needs to come from. So that was a really good, strong realization this week. And I look forward to figuring out how the fuck one implements that. How does one implement one's own naturalness in an environment that is still dominated by this capitalist structure? I don't know. So that's what the week is like. Also, spring is happening in Portland. It feels like I can breathe again. It's amazing. Like, oh my God, I'm having a huge turnaround in like how I'm feeling, partially because of me really filling my cup first with like walks and yoga, meditation, just quiet time, loud time, etc., whatever. But also just the fact that the sun is out, daffodils are blooming, like I'm so happy that spring is here. So have a weekend. I'll see you Monday.